Welcome everyone. Many familiar names over there. Welcome, welcome. We're really glad to be having this webinar with you, sharing our knowledge about analytics and many other things that our truly experts are gonna share with you today. I'm just here as your presenter and moderator, but Ceci and Mati are gonna share you some truly interesting content in some minutes. Just a quick introduction. We are Tavano team, a leading e-commerce agency focused on delivering elevated shopper experiences to organizations using NetSuite mainly in different industries and around the globe. I think there's another interesting thing that I want to tell you before we start that may be of interest for you. Responding to the needs of many clients, we created, I think some months ago, the Tavano Growth Club. Is an invitation-only group of companies that we work with to develop their sustainable growth strategy using a high-performing framework. If you want to know more about this, you can go to our website and contact us or here after we finish this webinar. Just to warn you, for some part of the webinar, you'll find that the content is highly technical. So I encourage you, we invite you to use the Q&A session, to use the chat here in Zoom. You see the chat button over there, and make any question, any doubt that you might came up during the webinar. And after the webinar, after Mati and Ceci finish their exposition, they'll address them and answer any question that you may have. I really invite you to use it and to make any question that you think that they need to answer to you. Some important comments as well. The presentation will be streamed live on YouTube. Right now it's streamed, so you can share it to your teammates or whoever you want. It's gonna be recorded and it's gonna be made available afterward. So we're gonna send you the whole webinar as a recording so you can share it to your teammates as well. All right, Mati, Ceci, are you ready? Perfect. Here we're gonna have. Great. We have Matías Lugli, our senior tech lead, and Cecilia Taibo, our digital analyst, that are going to share you the insight and secret from Google Analytics and how to stop missing opportunities and how to implement them in the perfect way that you need for your e-commerce. So, no further ado, Mati, are you ready? All yours.
Okay, guys. Let's get started. Well, today's agenda, we're going to talk about best practices to install Google Tag Manager and Google Analytics in eCommerce and eCommerce Advanced website, setting up key Google Analytics goals, how to make sure your Google Analytics is working for your website, common implementation mistakes, how to get rid of spam traffic, how to filter internal traffic, how to handle cross-domain linking, and finally, ensuring marketing campaigns tracking. Okay, so let's get started with the first one. Today, we're going to start with this. It's best practices to install Google Tag Manager and Google Analytics in a eCommerce Advanced website. Okay, so you have to keep in mind that there are two ways to do this, and it will depend on the version of the website that you are running right now. Okay, so first of all, take that in consideration, and you can find both guys, and each content that we will present here is based on the developers portal. So go ahead and take a look. It's a free page that NetSuite offers, and you can just access to resources and guides and workarounds and troubleshoot kind of everything in eCommerce. Okay. Okay, so here's a recap of the version of SEA, right? The oldest one is Denali, and the latest one is the 2020 and 20. Okay, let's go ahead and get started with the Aconcagua version and earlier. Well, there are 4 steps required to do this. Okay, first of all, sign up for Google Tag Manager. Add Google Tag Manager ID to the configuration record. I will be getting deeply in one of these with details later, but just as a summary of what we're going to do. Create a JSON file through the Google Tag Manager container generator, and finally import the JSON file to the Google Tag Manager admin. So let's go ahead and get started with the first one. Just log into your Google account and go to Tag Manager and create an account. This is a pretty easy step. Okay, after you finish, just you will see a page like this, and there are some important parameters that you might to take note here. The first one is the account ID that is on the URL. The second one is the container ID, and the last one is the Google Tag Manager ID over here. We are going to use these variables later. Okay, add Google Tag Manager ID to the configuration record. This is pretty easy. Go to your NetSuite admin and go to Setup, SuiteCommerce Advanced, and Configuration. And there is a field under the Integration tab and the Google Tag Manager sub-tab, and you need to paste the Google Tag Manager ID, this one over here. All right, you need to paste it on the configuration record in this field on the Google Tag Manager ID. Okay. The third step is create a JSON file using the Google Tag Manager container generator. This is a page that NetSuite come to us and bring us a way to create a file to upload to Google Tag Manager. It's pretty easy. So you just need to, on the developers portal, search for the Google Tag Manager container generator. I will put the link here so you can access. And you will have a page just like this. And there are some important variables that you need to paste here, okay? The first one is the Google Tag Manager, the Google Tag Manager account ID. The second one is the Google Tag Manager container ID. And these are the variables that I present on the previous slide, the account ID and the container ID, okay? Then if you have Google AdWords, you can just put the conversion ID, conversion label. And the most important here is the tracking ID, which is a famous UI on Google Analytics. That is the link between Google Tag Manager and Analytics. And the second one is the cross-domain, okay? After you finish, you will download a file. And the last step is to go to Google Tag Manager, click on the admin tab, click on import container, select override if this is the first installation of Google Tag Manager, and finally confirm. Okay, so after you finish with that, the Google Tag Manager page will look like this. You will see that some triggers and variables and tags will be created on the account by default. And this is the standard implementation of Google Tag Manager in a SuiteCommerce Advanced website for the Aconcagua and earlier versions. Okay, let's go with the second presentation. Now we're going to demonstrate how to do the same, but for some latest version, okay? We're going to take this over here. Okay, this is as well on the developers portal. You can just find, search for Google Tag Manager settings, and you will see this page, okay? This is a summary of the steps that we are going to do. There are 6 steps required, okay? Install SuiteCommerce Google Tag Manager editor, sign up for Google Tag Manager, authenticate your NetSuite account with the Google API, link your Google Tag Manager account to a domain, add the services to your Google Tag Manager container, and review and publish your changes. Okay, let's go with the first one. This is to install the SuiteCommerce Google Tag Manager editor. This is a bundle on the NetSuite backend. So to install it, you need to go to customization, site bundle, and search and install bundle, and just search for the SC Google Tag Manager editor. This is a screenshot of one of our accounts where we install this bundle. You can search for the bundle ID, but keep in mind that this bundle might be can be updated, so the number can change. So it's a good practice to search with the text. Okay. After you install it, let's go with the second one. This is kind of the same of the previous version. It's just create a Google Tag Manager account and keep in mind the variables that we already spoke. Third step, this is kind of the most difficult part of integration, okay? I put the links here, but you need to enable the Google API and enable some Google Chrome extensions to do it. But on the developers portal, you can find the guide how to do it. I will not do it right now because it can take some time, but you can do it yourself. It's kind of an easy step, but I'll take a time, okay? Okay, the first step is link your Google Tag Manager account to a domain. This is the same. You need to go to the configuration record, okay, and the integration tab and the Google Tag Manager sub tab. Just paste the Google Tag Manager ID. The fifth step is to just go to the NetSuite UI, and after you install the bundle, you have a new section on the NetSuite UI. It's the Google Tag Manager editor. So go to Setup, WooCommerce Advanced, and Google Tag Manager editor, and you will see a page like this. And these are the out-of-the-box services that Google Tag Manager offered to you with to integrate with WooCommerce Advanced. And this out of the box. The only information that you need is, for example, for Google Analytics, is the UA. For Facebook, you need the token, the credentials. It's pretty easy. Just add the services that you want. Just click next. And after you finish with this, you will see on the Google Tag Manager admin that many variables, triggers, tags will be created. This is all out of the box, okay? And in the last steps, just go to the Google Tag Manager admin again. And a good practice before submit the changes is go to the preview mode and access to the page, so you can check if the site is working as expected. Okay, you can see what are the tags, the trigger, and what are the events that are running on your website. If you see that everything is working as expected, just go ahead and submit the changes. Okay, and finally, this is the events that are supported on both versions. Okay, keep in mind that on the latest version, there are some out-of-the-box services like Facebook, I think retail, and there are other ones that you can check that comes by default. So if you have a Kilimanjaro website or Aconcagua, keep in mind that this is not standard, but of course we can do it. So keep that in mind. I mean, everything is doable, but needs some extra steps. Okay. Well, that's all. I will let you with Ceci.
Thank you, Mati. Let me just share my presentation. Okay, so there we are. Well, I'm going to begin talking about how to set the key goals on Google Analytics. When we speak of key goals, the checkout funnels must be the top goal that you can create to check out all your checkout funnel and the steps and where your clients are dropping off, just to optimize that single steps in the checkout process. Okay, so to do that, I will go to create a new goal. To do that, you do that in the admin section, and here in the view, you can go to goals and just create a new goal. And for the, let's just put checkout funnel. Checkout funnel. So this would be a destination goal. And what we are going to put in the details is in the destination, we are going to put the last URL of our funnel. Okay, so maybe the thank you page, maybe a /confirmation page. So you will want to put either the full URL or a regular expression that contains the last part of the URL. Okay, the value, you don't have to set that up because when you do the integration that Matish has talked about, all the transactions value and the revenue will be imported automatically. So it's not needed to set that up, but we want to do the funnel, to enable the funnel. And here we are going to list all the other steps in our checkout funnels. So the first step may be the checkout. You just go and set here the checkout and then the full URL here. And you want to set it to required. So the checkout funnel will show all the steps that we saw, like here. Okay, so the checkout funnel will look something like this. And you access here from the conversion part of the menu, go to goals and funnel visualization. Okay, so it's a really valuable goal to create. Okay, let's move on how to make sure that your Google Analytics is working for your e-commerce site. First of all, we will go through some steps. The first one is to check the GA Tag Assistant. Then we will verify on the real-time reports. And for the e-commerce sites, you want to make sure you have the e-commerce reporting enabled and also the enhanced e-commerce enabled. So first we will go to check the GA tag assistant, and for that I will go to one of our clients' sites. This is Gigi. They sell cooking supplies, and for that I installed this Chrome extension. It's the Google Tag Assistant, and what it will tell is which tags are installed in this single page. So for that I will go to enable and then refresh the page. And you can see that the tag assistant is telling that we have 2 tags installed on this page. One is Google Analytics and the other one is Google Tag Manager. So we can be sure now that the Google Analytics is on this page, okay? We will see later why this is showing in a yellow tag. This indicates that there is some issue, but for now we can be sure that it's in this page. We can also navigate through the site to make sure it is installed in all pages, okay? And what we will do next is verify the real-time reports on analytics. So here I am at the Google Analytics of this same client, and I will go to the real-time reports, and on the content here, what I will see is all the pages that the users are visiting right now, okay? So if I want to make sure that this is tracking correctly, I can just go to a page on the menu. Let's go to this, and this should appear right here, you know? So this is me, that I just clicked on this link, and I'm seeing myself in the real-time reports. So this is good because we are tracking correctly. Okay, let's move on now to enable the e-commerce tracking. So what is the e-commerce tracking? The e-commerce tracking will let us view a new bunch of reports that are the ones that are shown under conversions and on the e-commerce section. It will enable all these reports that have very valuable insights. And to enable this, on the analytics account, I will go to the admin section here. And then on the view settings, on the view part, I will go to the e-commerce settings. And here I will check that I have the enable e-commerce is on, okay? Once this is on, all that reports here will be enabled. Okay, and now I'm going to show what happens when we enable the enhanced e-commerce reporting. So when we enable the enhanced e-commerce reporting, these e-commerce sections will include new reports that shows more like how your customers are purchasing. So we will have the shopping behavior, the checkout behavior, and also the product list performance. But for this to be enabled, you have to do one further step. Sorry, I'm going to speak now about the checkout behavior because it's the more insightful. Also, it shows this kind of dashboard of graph that also shows all the steps on your checkout funnel and how many drop-off are in each step. There is a more visual kind of information. And in order to set this up, once you enabled the enhanced e-commerce reporting, you will have to set all the steps on your funnel. Okay, so by default, this is not going to show any of these steps. So you have to type them manually and make sure with your developer that all the steps on the funnel are being correctly tracked on the website code. Okay, so have a talk with them and make sure that you are tracking this correctly for you to see in the reports. Okay, good. Remember to ask any question on the Q&A. We will be answering at the end. We are going to see now some common implementation mistakes, and there are two main common implementation mistakes. The first one is when the GA code is implemented twice on some pages. And the second one is when the tracking code is missing completely from some pages. Okay, now let's see what happens when the tracking code is implemented twice. When it's implemented twice, what will happen is, first of all, the bounce rate will be very, very low. I will go back to the analytics of our client GG and show you just that. So in the audience and overview, we will see the bounce rate is very low, it's 3%. And whenever the bounce rate is lower than 10%, it is indicating that there is some issue, because a normal, a healthy bounce rate is around 50 or even to 80%. So a low bounce rate indicates that the page view is being sent twice, and that is why each visit is reported twice. So that is why Google Analytics gets that, well, there is no people entering the site and leaving, because they are staying there. We also can check this out by the Google Tag Assistant we saw before. So here, this yellow tag indicates just that. We can see here that it says that the same property is tracked twice. So we know that we have something to check there. And why does is this happening? It may happen that you are installing the Google Analytics through Google Tag Manager, but there was previously a Google Analytics installed in that site via a standard implementation or even hard-coded on the site. So there cannot be two Google Analytics coexisting on the same site. Okay, so to avoid this, just use Google Tag Manager across your whole site and install Google Analytics by Google Tag Manager. No standard implementation, and also by installing Google Analytics via Google Tag Manager, this will allow us also further improvements on the tag and on the reporting. Okay. Okay, and now I'm going to the common mistake number 2, that is when the tracking code is missing from some pages. If the tracking code is missing from some pages, what will happen is that you will see self-referrals from your own website, okay? And this is in the acquisition reports and all traffic and referrals. Here we see all the referrals URLs that are getting traffic to our site. And when we see traffic from our own website, is because there is some part of our website that is being considered as external, as it is not part of the same property, let's say. So in this case, what I did is in this referral report, just type my client's domain just to see if there was any internal, and we can see there is a few. So we will want to go to those pages and see if there is any tracking problem there. Good. Let's go now to the spam traffic and how to get rid of it. First of all, for the spam traffic, you want to make sure that the bot filtering option is checked. You can see this in your view settings. And And this option only takes care of already known bots by Google, okay? So, but the problem with this is that not all the bots are excluded, and it may happen to you that you see a spike in the traffic like this, and there is no apparent reason for that. Like you don't launch any marketing campaign that day, or anything weird happened that day to explain that spike in traffic. So that's maybe a spam traffic, and you want to keep an eye on your reports to detect this, because it can really mess up all your metrics. And I will tell you why, because the spam traffic always has a bounce rate that is close to 100. Also, the section time of the spam traffic is close to 0 seconds, so it will really lower your total session time. They only have 1 page per session, and they are full new users. So there is a bunch of visits coming to your website, not doing absolutely nothing, and bouncing. So all your metrics will be like it will not be good for your overall analytics reporting. So you want to keep track of these spikes and do a little digging to detect patterns of, for example, what browser or browser version are these is this spam traffic coming from? If you have if you can check the network domain they are coming from. All those little things that you can take into account just to know, well, I want to filter all the traffic coming through this browser or this network domain, okay? Okay, now what is even more important than this spam traffic is their internal traffic. You will always want to filter your internal traffic, like traffic from your developers, your testers, your content writers, marketers, or the support team, because this will all be heavy users of your website, and they can get mixed with your real customer data. So there are different types of internal traffic, and also different ways of dealing with that traffic to filter. So the first one is the direct traffic. Then we have the referrals. This is basically traffic coming from your internal management tools. Then we have the development or staging environments, and this we will filter them using the hostname URL. So let's start now with the internal referrals filter. This is pretty easy to set up. You will just go to set up a filter. I will go here, just if you don't know how to access there. It's in the admin section, and in the view, you will see that filter. And there you just go and add a new filter. Here I will set a custom filter, and in the filter field, set it to referral. And on filter pattern, I will list all my management tool, for example, Trello or Asana. And here the vertical line and the dash will function as an OR. So you want to list all your management tool like this in this filter. Then we will go to see how to filter the development or staging environments. Is pretty much the same, only that the filter field will be the hostname, and there you will paste your staging environment URL. Okay. Good. Now for the direct traffic filter, that is the one that gets mixed with our own customer traffic. Is the trickier to solve, and there are many ways. The first solution would be to get all your team to install this Google Analytics opt-out extension. Okay, so when this is installed on your browser, Google Analytics won't get register of your visits to the site. The second solution would be to create a custom filter to exclude the IP addresses or a range of IP addresses. To exclude a single IP, you just create a predefined filter and exclude the traffic from the IP addresses that are equal to the IP address you want. But if you want to exclude a range of IPs, that may be the case of a large company, you will want to create a custom filter instead. And in the filter field, select the IP address. And on filter pattern, you don't go and type all the IPs on that range. Instead, you will create a regex formula. Now I know this may seem a little confusing, but don't worry, you don't have to know how to create this, because there are plenty of tools to help us create these regex formulas. Here is one from Analytics Market. There is the link for reference. So here you just enter the first and last IP of your range, and this will automatically create a regex formula for you to paste on your filter. Okay, so that will filter all the IPs in that range. Okay, good. How are we going so far? We have a little bit more to cover. So now I'm going to talk about how to handle with cross-domain linking. Well, first starting what is cross-domain linking? The cross-domain linking basically allows Google Analytics to track users across multiple domains that are related to your site. This may be the case of your checkout page. And I will explain this with this example. Here we have an example visit that came through a Facebook ad and land to your site, view your site, pick a couple items, and proceed to the checkout. Okay, so first he visits the cart at your site, and to proceed to the checkout, your site redirects him to the PayPal. He do his purchase, and then PayPal redirects to your site to the thank you page. Okay, so how is Google Analytics reading this? You would expect that all this flow is attributed to the first Facebook hit, let's say. So the purchase, we expect Google to say as well, this purchase was made by Facebook. But the reality is that as Google is seeing this, is as Facebook landed to the site and go to the cart and then left on the site. So that is where the first session ended. And then another session happened coming from paypal.com and just landed to the thank you page. So all the purchases in this case will be attributed to PayPal. So if you see in your transactions reports that that many of your transactions are attributed to your checkout domain or PayPal in this case, there is a cross-domain linking issue. Okay, when we set this up, we say to Google that all these visits are related, and Google will keep it all in one single session. Okay, so how to make sure that we have this enabled, or we have this correctly set up? Well, first of all, if you followed the guide Matti showed us at the beginning, you don't have to set any of this, because in the NetSuite integration, it's already covered. So you don't have to take care of this. But in case you don't have that integration, if you're running on other platforms, what you will want to do is go to your Google Analytics variable on your Google Tag Manager, and on the advanced settings, add the domains to the cross-domain tracking section. Okay, so in this case, I will put PayPal, as in the example we saw before. And then on the fields to set, you want to add a new field name called allow linker. It has to be A lowercase and the L uppercase, and then the value to true. Okay, so by setting these two and then publishing your container, this problem will be solved in your Google Analytics tracking. Okay, good. Let's move on now to ensure your marketing campaigns are tracking correctly. So what I am meaning with this is when you create a marketing campaign or any link that is coming to your website, you want to keep correct track of it. Because that is the way that it will show us in the source and medium. And to do this, you want to do what we call decorate the links with a UTM parameter. So to do that, I will go to the campaign URL builder provided by Google. Then fill out the required fields, and this tool will automatically generate a link that I should use to track all my campaigns on Google Analytics. So I will put this link on my marketing campaigns or on my email list. I don't know, any place where we are linking to our website. We want to say where that traffic is coming from. So let's see how to generate that. Here I am at the campaign URL builder, and this will ask me for some information of that link and how I want to decorate it. So the first thing it does is for my website URL, in this case maybe the homepage of the client we were with the whole webinar, and it will ask for the campaign source. So where I am going to put this link on, maybe the newsletter. Okay, and then it asks me for the campaign medium. In this case, maybe an email. Make sure to always have this on a lowercase, because Google will take as two different mediums or sources if you type some mediums with lowercase e and other with uppercase e. So to avoid this, make sure to always enter lowercase. And then it asks for the campaign name, that may be, for example, a promo, I don't know, promo for spring. Okay, also don't type a space. You want to put a lower bar instead. And here we will see our full link to copy on our email campaigns or our social media post. Okay, good. I hope that you understand this part. And that's it. We covered all that we present on this webinar. Just a quick note before we go to the Q&A section. Here we cover just a small part of what a Google Analytics health check is. That is basically making sure that all the things are tracking correctly on your Google Analytics. And we actually have at Tavano a full service on this. So if you want your account to be checked by our team, make sure to contact us to get further information. Okay, please, Justin.
Great. Thank you, Cecilia. Thank you, Mati. It was really great content I think for everyone. Just a quick comment. I assume you already saw it, but there's an open poll right now for you to answer. Which of the common mistakes mentioned in this webinar have you not checked on your company's website? And there are some options that Cecilia mentioned some minutes ago. Tracking code implemented twice on some pages, tracking code missing from some pages, spam traffic, filter internal traffic, internal referral filter, and direct traffic filter. We have these final minutes to answer these polls. And remember, each one of these common mistakes means maybe missing opportunities for you, or maybe that you have taken some decisions based on wrong information. So these are really important to solve. So we have some questions, and I re-invite you to make other questions. And here, last minute, another Justin made a question. We're gonna go right there to your question, Justin. But let's start with the first one that was during the first 15 minutes of this webinar. So I think this is for you, Mati. Do the instructions you are giving also apply to site builder sites using reference checkout, or is that a different process?
So the guide is only for SuiteCommerce, SuiteCommerce Advanced site, but there are some services that we can reuse on a reference checkout. So, for example, the tracking of the transactions and the steps of the checkout that can be triggered and tracked using some parts of the integration. But I think the 80% is for SuiteCommerce and only 20% is for the checkout implementation on site builder sites.
Thank you. I think that answered the question. Here we have another one. Noel Hernandez said, maybe Cecilia, I think it's for you, but I don't totally understand it. Maybe you do. Hello, do we have counterpart of the cross-domain linking tackled by Google Analytics script?
Okay, so I don't get what counterpart is meaning here. So maybe Noel, you can just explain a little bit more.
Maybe Noel, you can expand on these
Yes.
questions, give us more information using the Q&A or using the chat, everything that you want. It's gonna be fine for us. Let's see, Justin, the other. Will the UTM data still capture in analytics if the destination URL has a redirect?
Okay, it's a good question. So the UTM, okay, so the UTM will capture the data that you set on the fields. Okay. If their destination is a redirect, it will always automatically set the medium to redirect, but not always. So you want to make sure if it is a link that you can control, you will always want to set it to the medium that is intended. Okay, because that way the link will pass through that redirect, and then the link that you will see is not the final one, but it's the redirected one. So it's a little bit trickier, but yes, it can be worked through. Yeah, definitely.
Okay, thank you, Ceci. I hope that answered it, Justin. If not, you can expand it using the Q&A again. Noel, yeah, you said, how do we make sure that our cross-domain linking Google Analytics script were correctly set up? So I think she's asking about the cross-domain linking. How do we make sure that is correctly set up?
Okay, so to make sure it's correctly set up, you will see that the full checkout funnel is not having any gaps. You won't see any redirects to your site. You won't see any redirects from the checkout page on your Google Analytics. Okay, so in the case that we were seeing, the case that I show you, we will probably see a lot of redirects from PayPal.com. But if you set this cross-domain well, you won't see any referrals from PayPal. And also, what is important, our transactions won't be attributed to PayPal, but to the main source of that the session has initiated. I hope that answers it.
Perfect. Yeah. You give me some practical tips to go there and check it out. Here we have another question about the same topic, so I'm going to ask it to you, Ceci, as well. Is cross-domain linking the same as cross-device?
Okay, that's a really good question, because these two often gets confused with each other. So as we say, the cross-domain allows Google Analytics to keep track of a user along multiple domains. And the cross-device linking or cross-device tracking allows Google Analytics to keep track of a user along multiple devices. So it can happen that I enter the site from different devices, like from a mobile browser, from a desktop browser. And to Google, that is going to look like different users are entering the site from different devices. There is no way to tell if all that sessions are from the same user. Okay, so for that is another different configuration to be done. But you want to make sure that you have a view on your analytics that has the user ID enabled. So that would be the first step. Then you want to contact your developers to make sure that your site is sending the ID information to Google Analytics. Okay, I know it's a little confusing, but that would be the main procedure.
All right, thank you. We have 10 more minutes to answer any question you might have. We already have some of your questions here, but I encourage you to ask anything you want. I'm going to go with a more technical question to Mati, but just to warn you, Ceci, here Blan is asking, can you go over the e-commerce setup and funnel steps? Because my view on checkout behavior analysis is empty. So I'll give you some time to start opening it, and I'm going to go now with Matthias. Mati, here we have another. Is it possible to integrate the event and services that are supported on 2018.2 and latest to older versions like Kilimanjaro? Here we're talking about a specific NetSuite example.
Yes, actually we can do it. There are some just adjustments on the Suite Commerce code, and with a few tweaks on the Google Tag Manager, all events are supported, yes, on Google Tag Manager and on the Google Analytics as well. So yeah.
Great. Answer that. We have another question, quick question. Can we get a copy of this video presentation? Of course, this is being recorded, and we're gonna send you the presentation via email, and it's been streamed on YouTube. So there you're gonna have the video as well. So answer that. Ceci, are you ready?
Yes, I'm going to share the screen.
Go. Let's review the question here from Blan. Can you go over the e-commerce setup, funnel step setup, because my view on checkout behavior analysis is empty?
Yes, okay. So for the checkout behavior report, you want to go to the view settings, to the view part in the admin section, and go to e-commerce settings. Make sure you have the enhancing reporting enabled. And here on the steps, you want to literally add all the steps on your checkout. So if the first one is the cart page, you will add the cart page. Then all the steps until you reach the thank you page. Once that is done, you want to go back to that checkout behavior and see if all the steps are showing as they should be. If this is still not showing data, you want to contact your developer, because this data is being pulled directly from your site's code. So you want to contact them to make sure that this code is put on the website itself. Okay, otherwise there is not going to be that linking to see this report.
Perfect.
Okay.
Perfect. I hope this answer it. If not, you can expand it using the Q&A. Remember, if you have more question, a more specific question, you can always contact us and we can help you with this, run a health check on your website. So don't be afraid to contact us, learn more using our website, or maybe you can write directly to us using our emails. Maybe Ceci or Mati, you can share the screen. Where is our emails? Where are our emails?
Yes.
So there you have it and you can contact us so we can help you with that. Noel, here is another question. Thank you for your questions. Will cross-domain linking be affected if we are tracking HTTP and HTTPS sites? I think that is for you.
Yes, yes, actually, there won't be affected much. Now, it depends on the case, but it's definitely something to go see the case in detail, but it shouldn't be a problem.
All right, thank you. If you can please share the
yes, here
there.
We have.
Thank you. There you have our email, so you can contact us and we can help you further with this topic. Remember, we have the poll. Which of the common mistakes mentioned in the webinar have you not checked on your company's website? And guess what? The option that is winning, no, actually there's a draw on the first position. Are tracking code implemented twice on some pages and tracking code missing from some pages. So if you have made these mistakes, you are taking decisions, making important budget, marketing mix, marketing channel decisions based on wrong information. So go there and check it as soon as possible. Here we have another question. I think it's going to be the last one if no one wants to answer to ask anything else. What views do you recommend setting in Google Analytics? I think this is for you, Ceci.
Yes, really great question. So thank you for asking this, because it's really important that the views that we are seeing on your analytics have always a raw view, a view that has no filters on it. Because once we apply a filter on one of our analytics views, we will lose that data forever, okay? So it's really important. Let me just show you. Like, for example, we have here GG, and GG only has one view, okay? So there is no raw data view. So if I could apply a filter on this view, for example, an internal traffic or any referral traffic, so I will lose that data. There is no backup for me to go and see if those visits generated any action on the site, okay? So I would say, just to simplify the answer, there are three main views you want to set up on your Google Analytics, and please make sure you have this created. One is the raw data view that I just spoke, that has no filters, no configuration, anything set up. Then is the master view, where you will be applying all your internal filters. And then there is a test view that you may want to create to test those filters before you pass it to the master view, okay? So thank you for the question.
Perfect. Thank you, Ceci. Let me check, but I don't think there's another question. Here we have, and this is going to be the last one. With NetSuite reference checkout having a one-page checkout system, is it typical to see multiple occurrence of Google Analytics in the tag manager as you advance one page of checkout to the next? NetSuite has told us it is expected behavior. I don't know who wants to answer it.
I think this is for both, but in the case of the reference checkout, just like I said, there are some events particular for the checkout, but the Google Analytics should be only one time on the page. If you have it twice, that is a problem, and there's something wrong on the implementation, on the code, or even on Google Tag Manager, but it should be only one Google Analytics tracked on the checkout.
Thank you. Ceci, you want to add
Yeah.
something to this?
Yeah, no, that's it.
Okay, perfect. Well, we are almost on time. Thank you, Ceci. Thank you, Mati. Thank you, everyone that is joining to this webinar. This is, I think, the second of many webinars that we will be creating to share our experience in these topics. As we told you, this is being recorded, so we're gonna send you the video presentation so you can share it with your teammate. Thank you for your question. Thank you for your time, and we'll see you in the next webinar. Thank you, Ceci. Thank you, Mati. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Bye.
Bye.